And no, Nagaso, he's trying to fight everybody out of both squad clicking away, but he can't tank everybody. Tron's low, but Navi players are dying. 3's dead. GG's goal!
Welcome. Andy's trying to get in on our intro.
Yeah.
He's trying to take it away from us. Welcome to the International Dota 2 Championships West Qualifiers, day number 2. We're back here at the Good Studio to bring you the final day of Group A. So it's going to be a big day. 2 teams will be dropping out of the tournament. 1 team will be going to the playoffs to join DD. If you missed yesterday, they were the team that won both their games in a row. The upper, their first semi-finals match and the upper bracket finals, and they've gone through. And I'm ready to get this on the road. I know we were here for the pre-game show. We've got about 20 minutes to kind of talk about what happened yesterday and what's going to happen today, and then we'll be cutting into the game in about 25 minutes. I believe that both teams are promptly on time and ready to start, which is good. But we'll start off with, how are you, Bruno?
I'm doing great. After yesterday, I was super excited. Getting DD there was something that you personally were expecting. I kind of was expecting. Some people were surprised, but most importantly, we saw lots of great things for both DD, AL, and at some extent Roxkiss. Now, the big question is today, will Empire be able to make a difference? We'll see. Yeah,
I felt it was the supports. Mitch and Twister, yeah. For some reason I wanted to call him...
Are you pointing fingers?
Yeah, I am. But I wanted to call him Targa just for a moment, because that's a Norwegian StarCraft player that also starts with T. But Twister and Mitch, yeah, they were the 2 for me that were like, you got to make something happen. You, like, at this level of Dota, if you're going to go through the qualifiers, if you're going to want to compete with the top teams at the International over in Seattle later this year in August, you have to be getting the most out of your time, and they did not get the most out of their time on their support. So definitely looking at them today. We'll see what they're going to come in with. Hopefully Empire come in with good spirits, as they've got a tough first match versus Rox KIS. But let's go over and meet the commentators of today. It is, of course, going to be Andy. He's looking very chuffed with himself, and Wepaz, that doesn't look like he's a hobo anymore.
It's good to be here, though. Today, especially. In Scandal, we trust. I think that Empire is going to be able to take the first series. That's my guess, although I did say that they were going to win yesterday, too, and that one didn't work out. But I just see Scandal play, and I want him to win so bad, because
You're a
Scandal
Scandal
played... Yeah, I'm a fanboy. I
course.
really love watching him play. His puck yesterday was amazing. He just didn't have a team. Like, if he just had a team, Bruno, it would be so easy.
That's what you need to get to TA3. You got a team.
He needs something like a TA instead. Something where he can just carry the game 1 versus 5. I want to see Scandal TA. Make it happen, Twister.
All right, well, you guys ready for all of today's games?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the first one a little bit more, because it's like, this is who goes out first, basically, in the entire group. So there's a lot on the line for both teams. I'm rooting for Empire. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking Roxkiss probably going to take it. Even though yesterday they lost to AL 2-1, it was like, I didn't really feel like Roxkiss, not that they weren't trying, but they weren't really bringing their A game. And AL just brought out their Slark, of course, and they managed to carry the series through that. Like, honestly, I feel like if they didn't get that hero, they would have lost to Roxkiss.
Yeah, well, we can take a look at actually the 4 teams player cards, just so you guys can be reminded who actually played yesterday. And then we'll go into the brackets and just check out that. But here are the 4 teams that are in Group A. So, were the 4 teams that turned up yesterday. Of course, from there, DD Dota have already qualified from the group. So, left in the group, if we go to the brackets, you can see that it is going to be Absolute Legends, were the last team to drop down into the lower bracket. So, they're going to be waiting. They've only got 1 game to play today. And Roxkiss and Empire lost in their upper bracket semi-finals. And they have to play each other, and the winner will go on to play Absolute Legends. This is a very, it's not easy for any team. Like, Absolute Legends in their position, we spoke to DD in an interview with Fucking Mad and also Godblack, and they said they showed a lot of their cards in terms of the Slark pick and what they are bringing to the table. So, Roxkiss and Empire, they first have to come to a strategy to beat each other. I think Rock's Kiss, if they get to play their game, they'll be great. Empire, of course, just need to play a higher level of Dota, and they should be good as well. They've got great players like Light of Heaven within the team. And then they got to counter Absolute Legends. So yesterday, Absolute Legends was almost a Cinderella story. The team that no one thought could almost did. So we're just waiting on, obviously we're going to go into that. The games, I think we're ahead of you guys, so I guess it's like 25 minutes until we get there. But we do have a recap video of the games yesterday, and then we'll talk about more specifically what happened. So let's check out the games from yesterday, and you can see exactly some of the highlights of the teams from day one.
Their initiation was solo, especially having a BKB. He can go on whoever he wants. There's just not enough damage. And speaking of, it's going to be Mania. He manages to force back into the base. Miracle charging up that Epi. He's only going to get it on Dread, but he is silenced. Dread going to get absolutely popped here. The cooldown from BZZ really not doing much of anything. Pops the BKB, trying to run back, doing what damage he can to the tower before they ultimately get out of the base. BZZ timing it really close there. Aegis is going to be going down. Looks like Yul's going to be dropping as well inside of that wall. And AL, they managed to defend this. Dread not alive currently. Solo taking quite a bit of damage himself. Is he going to be dropping two? Nice phase shift. He will be able to jaunt away. Now stuck inside of the trees is BZZ and AL with a massive turnaround. Yeah, Black Hole going to be used on just Solo. Not really that much damage, though. Two split fights going on here. Yul taking quite a bit of damage himself. Miggle gets one extra auto attack off. Ends up taking out the Nyx Assassin. Miracle is almost completely blocked by Creepster. Now manages to stun Dread, but I think he's going to be dropping here. Could be the first kill of the game to Rock's Kiss, but he's so fast, there's actually no boots on Dread, and he gets another Sum of Mania body blocks him. No! The Dragon Slave kills the walls. He's going to live through it all, and Dread, unfortunately, not going to be so fortunate. There was an ultimate on Solo. He will pop it for just himself, but it simply doesn't matter. Miracle comes back in. He says, "You can't kill me. I'm going to stun you," and you get another kill. So now his team has drums, they have the damage and the life stealer from the lands. Oh man, Twista and Blow Your Brain both getting caught out. Blow Your Brain once again just dies without using a single ability. Another buyback coming out of him. He will never be able to finish another item. Twista gonna get stuck all by himself against Sakshka. He's gonna be the next to fall. Coil coming out from Funzy, manages to hit two. Blow Your Brain back in the fight, does manage to spin silent. BKB pop, just hitting away. There is no damage output on the side of Empire. They simply can't finish anyone off. Omni finally comes out. Sakshka, though, quite low, not quite out of the fight. Blow Your Brain trying to run back to the base, gets the Lucent Beam, will end up dropping actually to Funzy, and now Scandal gets one kill. He manages to pick off Sakshka as Bucking Mad gets killing spree of his own.
Slavimir's offering. Scandal really
that lovely video was, I'm proud to say, made and brought to you by McCormick.
Great job, as usual.
And it crashed.
It did crash a little bit.
It was too much awesomeness.
Yes.
It was a really nice 5-minute recap. Trans is currently typing to McCormick now and going, "Your video has crashed." Maybe we'll get it back up for you later.
Yeah.
We'll see. If not, McCormick often posts his work on Reddit just because his mother never told him he was good at anything, and he liked what you guys say about it. So we'll see if that's the case. Really upping production value here is the trend. And also chat, because we're 6 minutes ahead. We saw the start of the show, and the no sound thing didn't work.
No.
You
Not
can't
at all.
out-troll us. Okay? Well, actually, they have a few times.
Yeah, but not again. Not again.
We're also doing amazing things here. We mentioned yesterday you can subscribe to the Good Studio, and you did. And so we've bought in...
Jakiro! Yeah, it's back!
We wanted to get it printed, like the other cards. magnets, but instead we just put it on some paper, got some Scotch tape, and that's what we did with just one subscriber.
Looks pretty similar.
Yeah, that's just because we got one subscriber yesterday. That's what we could do with it.
How do we have a Bloodseeker and not a Jakiro?
Huh?
How do we have a Bloodseeker and not a Jakiro?
Pocket strats, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
Very important.
I remember.
Pocket strats.
Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Against Weaver.
Yes.
It did work.
It did work, yes.
It did work.
And then they went 5 Force Staffs and pushed Synderen to death.
Yes.
That was fun.
Good times.
So let's talk about, we'll see what happens with the recap video when Trans gets on it. But let's just go back to the brackets and talk about the matches that happened yesterday. So we had 3 games yesterday. The first game was Roxkiss versus Absolute Legends. Again, everyone thought Roxkiss was going to potentially win. Absolute Legends pulled out some pocket strats. Some hidden strats, not a pocket, and they ended up winning 2-1. Kind of recap on the game, Andy. What were you impressed about from both teams, if anything at all?
Well, honestly, from the first match, like Absolute Legends came out with, like Godblack said the other day, that was kind of their go-to strategy. Put Miguel on that Slark, just have him pretty much run the game himself. Because every single game they've picked that hero, they've won. I'm pretty sure they still maintain like 100% win, but as soon as it gets banned out, they end up losing. I'm not saying it's like all him, but it seems like their strategies are heavily reliant on just that constant aggression that Slark brings so well, because he never really has to go back to base. He would go for his phase, his drums, get the BKB. Once he has those core items up, he just goes in, fights, gets the kills that he's looking for, even by himself. You mentioned this yesterday, that he is able to apply pressure to the map alone. There's not really a whole lot of heroes in Dota who can do that and not get punished for it. So I feel like them showing that this early, they were expecting to get that sprint finish that you mentioned yesterday to get straight through the top of the bracket, but it didn't quite happen for them.
All right, and the next match was DD versus Empire Weapons. That went 2-0 in favor of DD. What are you looking at? Because DD aren't, of course, they don't have to play anymore. They've already qualified first place. But when you looked at Empire, what did you notice and what did you see about their play that they're going to have to step up to today? Because obviously losing that game was not optimal for their road to TI3.
I feel it was mostly like you said. The supports didn't really accomplish too much in that game, especially in game 2 where they went with an aggressive tri-lane, going for Leshrac, Shadow Demon, trying to get some ganks in. And then I believe they actually gave up first blood in that lane even. And then it kind of just fell apart. They never started roaming with the combo. It's one of the strongest roaming combos when you're level 2. But they just didn't really do anything. Scandal played so good, but he didn't really have any follow-up whatsoever.
Right.
So it just felt like the supports needs to do a lot more on Empire's side.
Okay, and last game that was played, we just take a look at the brackets. Bruno, it was the DD versus Absolute Legends game.
Yeah.
And once again, DD, we don't necessarily have to talk about them until the playoff stage, so let's focus a little bit on Absolute Legends. They're waiting to play Roxkiss and Empire. What were you impressed about? How do you fancy their chances with their one game today that they either win and qualify or they lose and they're out of the tournament?
Well, Absolute Legends was a team that was 2 different teams. Once when there was one different team when they were playing Slark and one when they weren't. We saw that game 2, sorry, when they won with Slark. They played, as Andy said, super aggressive, putting all the pressure on the other team, nailing those kills. What happened when they didn't get Slark? Remember that trend pick on the game 1 for DD? They couldn't get kills. They were just always so close. They lacked a little bit of punch. They need to go super aggressive this time. And without the hero, because I'm assuming people will be banning Slark against AL, they'll have to find something else. Maybe Night Stalker is their pick? Who knows?
All right, well, we'll take a look at that. But, of course, that kind of recaps yesterday. The only preview we'll be doing for today will be once we finish the pre-show, which will be the first matchup, Roxkiss versus Empire. But you've got some information for us, compendium statistics.
Yes.
What are we
Okay,
going
so
towards?
we're starting with the compendium. Of course, as you all know, and if you don't know, you can buy a $10 compendium from the Steam store, which $2.5 out of each sale goes into the prize pool. The prize pool that yesterday was at 1.9 million is now 1.936. So it went, I mean, about 30K just in one day, which is really, really great.
If you consider that 30,000 in prize pool is twice what Star Ladder often offer per season.
Yep.
That's what the community's raised per day. So they've raised the prize money of 2 Star Ladders.
Just so you have an idea. So yeah, also because if you have the compendium, you can make prop bets on the matches and like who will get first blood and stuff like that, how many kills, how many deaths. And the community asked me if I could put something together.
And then the community did it.
And then the community did it for me. So it's like, thank you guys, because it was 4 in the morning and I was getting a bit tired. So I'm going to go with Lasties from Reddit list, which I really trust because I checked, but not too thoroughly. I trust him. Most picked heroes so far are Lone Druid and Lifestealer with 6 games.
I got Gyrocopter.
I told you, Lifestealer or Gyrocopter. Most banned, Wisp and Bad Rider. I think Bad Rider is the same bet.
I picked Bat Rider.
Most First Bloods. Gyrocopter leads with 2 First Bloods so far. That's kind of unexpected. One would expect some support hero,
I had
kind of
SD.
like. Yeah, that makes sense because.
Wait, what was that game where BZZ got first blood on the Darkseer? Because that was pretty much the whole reason why that
AL
happened.
first game,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, the AL's first game. Yeah, that's
when
what it
they
was.
when
Okay.
they roamed down and then Gyrocopter managed to pick up the kill because Van's blade
BZZ
came
skewing
down.
the compendium.
Most deaths, surprising. Lifestealer with 21 deaths. Of course, he was picked in 6 games, so it makes sense. But more than 3 deaths per game, that's quite a lot for Darkseer. Followed by, Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Followed by Darkseer with 17, and then a few others with 16. Did we have an 800 plus GPM game? We did have with that Tiny from last game, which was
Shoshka.
insane. Sokshka,
Yeah.
great Tiny right there. Number of heroes never picked or banned. 44 were picked, and we have 98 heroes in the pool, so 54 heroes yet to be picked or banned. Very interesting. Still a healthy amount of heroes being picked. No big comebacks so far. Big comebacks means going back from a 10,000 gold deficit, so nothing there. Fastest game time, the bet was either below or post 18 minutes. There were no games less than 18 minutes so far, so any more than 60 minutes games? No. So every game was below 60 minutes. Earliest Roshan, no Roshan kills before 1 minute, so no level 1 Roshan, not yet. Earliest tower, no tower under 2 minutes. There was one that was super close in one Empire game. They couldn't make it, I think they killed it at 2:11. 1 Rapier bot, 0 refresher bots. Highest crit, this is kind of controversial, but let's go with 100,000 from that Tiny with Daedalus that hit for a lot to Roshan.
100,000.
100, sorry, wow, yeah, that's another game. 1100, there you go. Most Roshan kills, 3 in a game, and that's it. That's it with the compendium.
All right, yeah, so... Of course, that's only day 1. I reckon I'm going to get all mine correct by the end of the tournament.
I'm gonna get all correct. I'm gonna show
He's
it.
cheating, right? Because basically he's got a website that records the stats from all competitive games. So it's like most picked hero, go to Dota Academy. It's
There
like,
it is.
yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Super easy.
not fair. Okay, so we're 20 minutes past. So what we're going to do now is we've talked about what happened yesterday. Of course, the game coming up, which will be starting on the half an hour. It's going to be Rock's Kiss versus Empire. So we're going to end the pre-show here. We talked about like what happened yesterday. We showed you a broken McCormick video that hopefully we'll get back and be able to show you after the first game. But if we just check at the brackets just before we go away for a moment, we can see that the first game starting in just 10 minutes time. So we'll go away just for a couple of minutes and then we'll come back with the game and some statistics. It's Rock's Kiss versus Empire. And then at 8:30 CET, 3 hours later, we're going into Absolute Legends versus the winner, and everything from Group A will be wrapped up today. So, as we mentioned before, 2 teams will finish their road to TI3 here. 2 teams will qualify and be very motivated in terms of training and what they're going to bring to the big tournament over in Seattle in August. So we'll leave it here, guys. We'll see you in just a moment. We're going away just to make sure that we get some air in the studio, and we're all going to do our hair and some makeup, and then we'll be back with the game.